The Supreme Court hears oral arguments in a religious freedom case today. The case, Shurtleff versus Boston, addresses whether the city of Boston violated the First Amendment when it refused a group's request to fly a Christian flag temporarily outside of City Hall. And joining me now is Andrea Picciotti Bayer, director of the Conscious Project and legal analyst for EWTN News. Andrea, welcome back. Always so great to see you.
Well, thanks for having me on, Tracy. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. So let's talk more about this case and what's at the heart of it.
Well, it's really interesting. It's an intersection between free speech and the Establishment Clause. And we start off with the background of the City Hall of Boston. In front of City Hall, there are 3 flagpoles. On the first flagpole is the flag of the United States of America. The second flies the flag of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And on most days, on the third flagpole, the City of Boston flies their city flag. But they allow private groups to fly flags to commemorate historic events or different communities within Boston, including different foreign countries' flags. And so for 12 years, the city had approved over 280 requests to fly flags. Some of those flags include the country of Cuba, of China, and of the LGBT community in Boston. But in 2017, Harold Shurtleff asked for permission to fly what he called the Christian flag as part of Camp Constitution's celebration of Constitution Day. Now, I had never heard of the Christian flag, but it turns out it's a thing. And it's a white flag, and in the upper quarter is a blue block and a red Latin cross on it. And he was told by city officials that his request was denied because they were concerned passersby would think that the city was endorsing Christianity. So, of course, Shurtleff was not to be stopped, and he went to court. And today, this morning, on Tuesday, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in his case, claiming that the city violated his free speech rights and that there was no problem in raising a Christian flag to celebrate Constitution Day.
And what did the justices have to say during oral arguments?
You know, it was fascinating. I love listening to these oral arguments. It was always great to be able to go in there in person, but to be able to connect to it, and everyone should really look forward to the opportunity to see the oral arguments or to listen to oral arguments by connecting to C-SPAN or to the court's website. All of them were engaged, and it seemed like an overwhelming majority of the justices thought that the city of Boston could not refuse flying that flag when they opened up the flagpole's use for all sorts of other people to fly flags.
And when do you think that we'll have any kind of resolution on this? When do you think the ruling will be?
Well, it looks like it could go until the end of the term, which is in June, but it could come sooner because it's kind of an easy case. When you open what's called a public forum, you can't discriminate based on the viewpoint of the person wanting to be there. And in this case, they were discriminating because the flag to be flown was a Christian flag.
And before we wrap up this case right here, Andrea, tell us really, really the importance of this when it comes to religious freedom in the First Amendment.
Absolutely, Tracy. This is another confirmation of the importance of free speech. Again, that the government can't restrict speech based on viewpoint. But it's also a chance for us as Americans to kind of step back and think, why was it that the city of Boston thought that a Christian flag would be divisive? And why was it that in our oral arguments, people were thinking about other flags that surely would cause problems, like flying a swastika or a Ku Klux Klan flag? And we really need to think about, we know that our faith is a faith of peace, and it isn't there to cause division, but to bring us together as a country. And religious pluralism is the best way to be stronger as a nation.
And before I let you go, there's another case that's heading to the Supreme Court, and that is the case with a football coach, high school football coach, who was praying on the field. Tell us why that is going to the Supreme Court and a little bit more about that case.
Absolutely. This is a really interesting case. It's a coach named Joseph Kennedy, and at the end of games, in the middle of the field, he would kneel down and pray. And he was actually fired by the school district for doing that. originally suspended and then fired. His case has gone through the courts and is going to be heard by the Supreme Court, where really we should know that individuals can express their faith even in their jobs and not be limited by the government, whether it's a school district or a place of business, from being able to freely show the importance of their faith in their life and in their work.
And we know you'll be following that, and we'll be following
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much, Andrea. It was so great to see you and get your analysis.
Thank you, Tracy.